What's happening? What's happening?
It's Gregarious Joy.
Hey, Gregarious here.
And Joy here, just coming into your living room or home to say hello.
Or wherever you are, in your car or on the run.
On the run, in the car, anywhere.
There you go. Well, we always start off our show with a bit of inspiration. And today, the thought is, one love shines within. We are all beloved children in the mind of God. There may be 7 billion unique faces, all one heart. The heart of life connects us all. Today I align my thoughts with God mind and behold all people as my brothers and sisters. Behold all people as my brothers and sisters. The illusion of separation dissolves as I discovered the beauty of one love shining within each of us. Love is not limited to any race, creed, or nation. Beneath the illusion of separation lies clarity, unity, and the divine nature of all life. I redirect my attention or thoughts. See, one of the beauties of us meeting and working together is we're learning about each other's culture.
Knish.
You know?
That's a potato pancake. You'd like that, probably.
You think so?
Meat and potatoes. They're religious and spiritual, and really.
But you're Jewish now, though, right?
No, I'm not. No, I never converted to Judaism. Oh no, I had an ex-husband who was Jewish. That's all.
I thought you were Jewish.
No, we went to the Jewish holidays and all that with the mother-in-law's house and gorgeous, fantastic times.
Got
it.
But it
wasn't just because I liked Judaism. You know, I participated full out.
Right.
But no, I actually thought about becoming Jewish before I was married. I only wanted to date Jewish guys, so I knew I was probably.
What's that all about?
I knew I was probably going to marry one. I don't know.
You only wanted to date a Jewish guy.
I only wanted to date Jewish guys.
So if the right guy came along and he happened to be a brother, you walk right past him because he wasn't Jewish?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I was into a type.
You heard it here first.
Everybody's got a type. I mean, a lot of people don't, but
Okay.
some people do.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I had a definite type.
Okay.
But not the ones from the garment business were, you know, I never dated them in the garment business because they were the salespeople, and I don't know, I didn't like those Jewish guys, but I like Jewish guys in general. So I'd go to a lot of Shabbat dinners, Friday night dinners, Saturday, all through my 20s and 30s, and hung out with a lot of Jewish girlfriends. And I don't know, I learned a lot about, I went to conversion classes for 6 months thinking maybe I'd convert, and then as I went along in it, I realized it wasn't for me.
Okay,
it wasn't spiritual enough in a certain way.
So for those of us who don't know what a Shabbat dinner is, why don't you tell us, if you don't mind?
Shabbat Shalom, that's Friday night at sundown. Everybody goes and gathers at somebody's home, or your own home, or whatever, and you put everything down, you stop working, and you pray, and you have a nice dinner called Shabbat dinner, and it's usually chicken or brisket, something very Jewish food, kugel, you know, matzo ball soup maybe, and kreplach, something like, you know, maybe your gefilte fish, something great. What are you laughing at? You never knew all these Jewish foods. He doesn't know the Jewish foods.
No, I don't.
But at any rate...
See, one of the beauties of us meeting and working together is we're learning about each other's culture.
Knish.
You know?
That's a potato pancake. You'd like that, probably.
You think so?
Meat and potatoes in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Gaia. So at any rate, best food in the world. But, no, I didn't want to become Jewish. I realized it was not for me.
Okay.
And so I'm a Christian. I like Unity of Las Vegas. I really do. I love Unity Church in general.
What is it about Unity that you like?
I found Unity way back in, I guess, my 20s, or way back when I was a kid. My mom and dad would travel to different churches, just they were open to visiting a Buddhist temple, and we went to a Jewish synagogue once, and my parents exposed me to lots of different religions, actually. They were very much into a lot of, you know, interest in lots of religions. One of their best friends was a professor at the college there, UOP, and in Stockton, and they were he was a professor in foreign religions, so maybe
Okay.
that's why, because they had friends who were into it and they loved that. So I learned about unity when I was in my teens, and I just had visited a couple times, but I loved it. So when I was in LA, Santa Monica, I got involved with a mastermind group first. It was a goal setting group once a week that I got together with about 12 people from Unity who had this thing called mastermind group, big fat book you get. Wonderful workbook where every week you write your goals, week, month, daily goals, and prayers and things that, and then you write down the goals of all the people in the group. So every week you're praying for their goals as well. And when you get together again, you can check how you did every week. It was a wonderful tool and ability to get empowered by my group and empower my group, through Unity's mastermind group. And they still exist. If anyone ever Googles mastermind, you can find a group for support.
Google Mastermind.
Yeah, a goal-setting group.
It's a goal-setting group, absolutely.
It's really powerful. And you have see, one thing about Unity is it's not denominational,
No.
meaning it doesn't have a set dogma. It actually explores saints of all nations. Sort of speaks the teachings of Buddha on a service. Sometimes you'll see, or other, Rumi. They share a lot about his, or Lao Tzu. My old minister Shad Groverland used to love Lao Tzu,
Yeah,
that philosopher. So he do.
Thich Nhat Hanh from Vietnam.
I don't know him.
I mean, some of the great gurus that are out
And
there.
you know what? There are modern day saints. People don't realize.
Yes.
There actually are. There's one called Guru Mai. I don't know if you know of her.
No,
It gives
I
me
have
shivers
not
when I
heard.
think of it, because I went to the Shrine Auditorium with 22,000 people
Okay.
watching Guru Mai talk. And she's now she's not young, she's probably 40 by now, but she's like in her 20s.
Okay.
And this is a girl from India. So there's lots of places you can get spiritually fed that aren't just church,
Right.
and that's nice that we can Google anything today,
No, I agree with
So,
you on that.
I'm curious about Guru Mai and where she is right now. But one of my ex-boyfriend's brother wrote the music for her. He was redoing. He had played piano for Diana Ross for years.
Yes.
On the road. So Ron Foyer, hi Ron. I think you're a friend of mine, and maybe you've even watched the show. I'm not sure. Randy and Ron. Randy was my ex-boyfriend, but
Cool.
they were really involved with the music with Guru Mai. So that's how I got invited and got to enjoy that. But exposed, to something like that. See, like, you
Fantastic.
didn't even know Guru
Yeah.
Mai.
Yeah, right.
It's very
You're right. I
unknown.
learned something new about you every
Yeah.
day.
And the Dalai
grew up-
Lama. Dalai Lama's a modern day saint, right?
Dalai Lama is a modern day saint.
That's what we call.
Yeah. So, I grew up in a more traditional church, a Pentecostal church, and
What does that mean? Oh, we
well-
went somewhere this week that you said was
Yeah,
similar
yeah,
to what your church
yeah,
was.
Yeah, she wanted me to check out this place. Excellent music. I mean, the choir was awesome.
You said it reminded him of his church from home.
Yeah, it really did. But
Wanna tell what church?
we
The Mountaintop.
put a shout out to the Mountaintop.
Hey, Mountaintop.
Here
Very
in Las
nice.
Vegas.
We
Yeah,
had
it
so
was
much fun.
Yeah, it was a great service.
Beautiful.
With my church, it was our way or the highway. It's either
They were
holiness or
rigid.
hell.
They were
So
kind of-
yeah, very rigid, very
Yeah.
rigid.
The minister instilled that. He spoke like that in the
Yeah,
services.
yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
Like, you're
I
better-
was,
you're
I was
better than
always,
other people
I was
kind of
always
thing.
confused.
Yeah.
Because I had a neighbor behind us that I really loved. He was one of my best friends, and they were Presbyterian.
Oh.
And I loved going to their house. They were very open.
Did you ever go to their church and
Free.
visit? Or?
Yeah, I did. I went to church with
So
them several
you
times.
noticed a difference.
Yeah, it was. I mean, when I went to their house, they were, playing, contemporary music.
Your house, it was old-fashioned music. What do you mean?
No, it was more gospel music going on in
Okay.
my house.
Your mom lived gospel.
Oh well, it was. That's the old thinking was, keep your mind set on
Spiritual ideals.
Yeah. So that was
So that's what you
something that went on in my household.
You woke up to in the mornings. Was your mom had the gospel music on?
No,
or?
my mother didn't wake up at 2 a.m. with
No,
the
I
gospel.
said when you got up in the mornings.
Well, on
for
Sunday
school.
morning for sure.
For school.
There was gospel being played before we
Okay.
went to church.
Oh, all right.
So I,
Sets
as
the tone. That's
as my
nice.
career
I need
got
to
going.
cut you off really quick.
Yes.
We're gonna because the Facebook just stopped us live streaming.
Yes.
I'm gonna upload it. Okay.
From the whole beginning.
Yeah. So go. Yeah.
We have to start.
No, you don't have to. It's recorded. This one is recorded. So just say bye for the commercial break.
Okay. So
Okay.
we're going to take a break,
Okay.
and we'll talk more about churches and what did you ask me? How did I know about Unity of Las
And
Vegas?
judging a book by its cover, that's what today's topic
right,
is.
and we're going to circle back to that.
Okay, we'll be right back.
We have some great stories about not judging a book by its cover. See you in a bit. Bye.
Social Media Shows is teaming up with RevolutionRadio2.com to present Social Media Shows Sunday, featuring the very best of social media shows starting at 6 a.m. We begin our block with Saved by Grace, The Good News, In the Office, Musician Loves Honey, and ending with Dark Music Television. This is on every Sunday starting at 6 a.m. on RevolutionRadio2.com. And if you want to keep up with all the shows, please keep tuning in to socialmediashows.com. We've reached the age of live streaming on social media shows. You may ask, we're already ahead of the curve, so why do you need to advertise with us? Well, only 8% of the businesses in the U.S. are using digital advertising to grow their business. That's 2 percentage points short of reaching critical mass, which will lead to faster results. We have 20 plus shows with a reach of over 80,000. We'll give you commercial ads, website link, and connections to nonprofit organizations. So get your brand ready for digital monetization, for we are looking for sponsors, which will bring more traffic to your business and ultimately mean more sales. So let's bring the world to you. Inquire now.
John is an employee at one of the most famous firms in the city of New York, so his job is very hectic, and he realized that it is necessary for him to go and finally take a vacation. But he went on a vacation without planning out the details, and wasn't able to truly enjoy where he went because he had to think about so many things that he didn't plan for. Instead of enjoying his time away from work, he came back with more stress that he was not able to take full advantage of his vacation. But this year, a coworker suggested him to try World Ventures this time to make his vacationing more enjoyable and less stressful. They do not require you to plan anything outside of your transportation, which is also available at discounted rates. Your stay, your transport, and many meals are planned by the club. John liked the idea very much. He tries World Ventures, and his experience with the club was amazing, as he made many friends there with whom he had a great time. John recommends that everyone should try this club, as they are the best in business. See how the VIP-vacation-club.com can give you the right experience without all the hassle. Enjoy the VIP experience that only World Ventures provides.
Hey, Gregarious
Hello. We're back from break.
We're back.
Yeah, as we were going into break.
It's a beautiful day outside. It's
It
one
is.
of the first hot days in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Woo! Hot peppers, man. It's gonna be hot.
Joy was sharing her journey as it relates to spirituality. And for me, as I mentioned, growing up in the Midwest in a more traditional church, and I got a promotion that landed me in Seattle. And then from Seattle, I went to San Francisco with that company. And San Francisco was a awakening for me.
What did you think of it?
Well,
I lived there too. I went to school there. I loved it. I lived there a year and a half, I think.
Okay, I was real impressed about how people got along in San Francisco.
Different nationalities.
Yeah, the diversity there.
Yeah. Chinese. It's the biggest Chinese population in our country.
Okay,
in a city.
Well, not only the
Because that's
Chinese,
that's their sister
but
city.
the gays got along.
Yes, the gays got along. Exactly.
Whites and blacks got along, although it wasn't a lot of African Americans
I do think you're right.
in San Francisco because the city is so expensive. And for those who sold their properties, they moved over to Oakland.
There's an Oakland big population.
Yeah, but you know, I'm you know, I was in medical sales, and I'm going through the city doing my accounts. And I remember one day I was downtown, and there was a gay couple holding hands, and they turned and kissed each other, and they had, you know, embraced, and they were getting ready to pass the school, and you know, I stopped. I said, I want to see what's going to happen. Are these kids going to start calling them names? Are they going to be yelling at them?
Because they were near the school kids.
Yeah, they were, you know, holding hands, walking past the school.
What happened?
You know, there were some guys out playing basketball. Right. There was some playing volleyball.
Mm-hmm. And you know what would happen in Kansas, where you're from.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? You know
or even in the South. So,
anywhere in the
you know, they walked by, and not a kid stopped playing.
They just didn't even look.
Nobody even looked twice.
Not an issue.
And I thought,
yeah,
wow, what a city.
That's nice. It's like
you
America
know,
should
something
be.
To me that might seem trivial to someone else was a real eye-opening experience for me. So I was in Berkeley one day, and I had a meeting to meet the ICU supervisor. And she said, Greg, I have just been given a new patient that I need to admit, and it's going to take me some time to get them admitted. So would you mind just taking maybe an hour, walk the streets of Berkeley? There's plenty of eclectic shops and bookstores. So I did.
It's quaint.
Oh, it is quaint.
Parts of it by the college.
Yeah. Berkeley is such a cool
it's
town.
Special.
You speak about, you know, not judging a book by its cover. Berkeley is like this. I mean,
They've got so many neat small businesses.
Yeah.
Like pottery, where you do pottery, and flower shops. Great flower shops in San Francisco and in Berkeley and everywhere up north.
So I passed this bookstore, and the smell of the incense drew me in.
Uh-huh.
And there was a little short guy. He looked like a monk. And
are you doing the "Don't judge a book by its cover"?
Yeah, you know, I walked in,
and this is a bookstore.
Yeah, it's a bookstore. And he says to me, "What are you looking for?" I said, "Book on sales." And he said, "We don't have sales books here." He said, "What are you trying to create?" And I'm looking at him like, what am I trying to create? I'm creating sales. Mm-hmm. And he looked at me, and he didn't crack a smile. Uh-huh. He stayed right on focus with me. Mm-hmm. He said, what are you trying to create? Mm-hmm. I said, well...
just like a Yoda guy.
Yeah.
Like old wise.
He said, so with more sales, you can do what? I said, I can take better vacations. I can spend time with my family. Okay, so more money... more time with family, more free time to do exactly what you want to do. I said, yeah, exactly. So we've got books covering 3 walls, right. Okay? Mm-hmm. He walks over to this one book, puts his finger on it and pulls it out, and he hands it to me like this, and he said, for you, The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. And I'm looking at him like, Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. I didn't even know there were laws of prosperity by Catherine Ponder. I read that book 3 times. And it really, really, really just changed me for the better. And I wanted to meet the author. And I found out she was a member of the Unity Church.
Oh, okay.
So I went out to Palm Desert to meet her on Easter Sunday, talked to family, and to go into Palm Springs. And when I got there, she was not present. And the associate minister came over and greeted us, and I said, I came here because I wanted to meet Catherine. And she said, well, she doesn't come every Sunday, but what is you looking for? And I said, well, I like the teachings that are in this book, and I was hoping I could find out where I could go to learn more. And she said, where do you live? I said, San Francisco. She said, in Palo Alto, there is the Unity of Palo Alto, which is one of the biggest churches in the country. And I'm like, that's probably 10, 15 minutes from where we lived in Foster City, down in San Mateo.
Perfect.
So, I went back on Sunday night. Monday, I drove to Palo Alto to find this place. Mm-hmm. And we went on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And we sat in the back first, then kind of went to the middle, and then I moved to the front. And I was so in awe of the message. I mean, this guy gave talks. Nothing against anyone's religion or anything like that. He's not a screamer. He's not a hollerer. I mean, he gave realistic, lifetime messages every Sunday that had you sitting on the edge of your seat.
Like very powerful, huh?
Yeah. So after the third Sunday,
it's great when you find a good minister.
oh, absolutely, absolutely, someone
away.
that feeds your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I walked up to him, and third Sunday, and he looked at me. It's like, it took you enough time to get over here. And I was like, I had to wait and check it out. He said, I've been doing this for a long time. You get it. He said, we have a connection. I watched how you sat on my every word. He said, you're a minister. And I said, no, I'm a salesperson. He said, you don't realize it yet, but you're a minister.
That's beautiful.
And that's what started
He
my
related
journey.
to your soul connection of that.
Yeah, he did. He saw what was within me that I didn't see what was in myself. But, I'd always been told I'd be a minister. I have two brothers that were ministers. My brother Wayne, God bless his soul, who passed on, pastored a church in Topeka, Kansas. My oldest brother Bernard pastored a church in Kansas City, Missouri. And when I left for Morehouse, my father told me, look, now, if you're going to become a preacher, okay, why don't you just stay home instead of wasting my money and your money?
Ooh.
Okay?
So he put the table.
He
He
said,
put it
why
on the
don't you
table.
go, why don't you go out and get some education that you can make some money from? So that's what I did.
But you did love it. Like,
Oh, I did,
the idea was
absolutely
there
loved it.
already. You have
It was there for me. So long story short, it took a roundabout way for me to get there, but it was within the Unity Church and the Unity movement, and I went to the Unity School. It was called the School of Religion. Now I do believe it's the School of Christianity, but we studied all the religions that were out there, and that was always a curious part for me because, as I mentioned earlier, had a neighbor Baptist, had a neighbor Presbyterian, and at my church they would say, holiness or hell. So I would ask my mother, are Dwayne and his family going to heaven? They're Presbyterian. They smoke and drink. Go ask your father. So my next door neighbor Baptist, they're having fun. Are they going to heaven? And I just couldn't imagine for the life of me that a loving God would put people in hell and burn them up because they didn't agree eye to eye
Right.
with
Every little detail.
every little doctrine. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So we'll get into that in greater detail.
So don't judge a book by its cover.
Don't judge a book by its cover. So you had some really
Okay.
neat stories that you were going to share about judging a book by its cover.
Judging a book by its cover, right. Okay, first of all, I love comedy. I'm not the funniest person, but
I would agree with that.
he's funnier. He has a lot of humor, wit,
Okay.
much more teasing ability and mimicking and...
I do all the above.
Oh, man.
I do all the above.
He does
I agree.
all of it, and it's like enough already. But he's wit. And at any rate, this was a comedy routine that I heard way back in the day, and I loved it. It was about judging a book by its cover. Okay, so they said, what's the personality of a city, of different cities?
Yeah.
And this comic, I don't
Good
know
question.
who it was, but they were saying, okay, if you go to the South,
Right?
people are all, y'all have a nice day.
Yeah.
And they have a big smile, and they
Right.
look at you.
Right.
And that doesn't always mean what it sounds like it means.
What does it really mean? What do you
Like,
think?
that could mean something, according to this comedian who was doing the thing, that was like, yeah, the big fake smile, exactly. So, okay, then
But
you
might
go to
have some
L.A.
you might have some Southerners who will disagree with you.
Okay,
on that.
okay,
They call
but-
it Southern hospitality.
Then you go to L.A.
Yeah.
And it's the land of looking good.
Yeah, baby.
And people are like, you got to look good or you're
Yes,
nobody.
That's right.
And now it's very, very surfacey and very phony. And LA is quite a bit like that. I have to say, I was a fashion designer going to school and living in LA afterwards. I loved going to the movies because everybody dressed so great in the line at the
Oh my
movies.
God,
I
they do.
loved how
They
people
do.
dressed in LA. It was
do.
really good in that way.
Yeah, you go to the grocery
But-
store, people look good. You go to the beach, people are
The
looking
land
good.
of looking good.
Yeah, everybody's staying
Tan
fit,
and-
eating right,
Exactly.
the whole nine.
It's really
Yeah,
crack
it
up.
is.
So that's
When
LA.
when you're 18 years old, you automatically for a graduation present get a a cosmetic mammary job,
Well, not my mom and dad.
Okay.
But I was from Northern California.
Pretty much all the malls did have
oh my goodness,
places for you to get your mammaries.
Augmentation. Okay.
Augmentation.
At any rate, the next one, New York.
Okay.
If you go to New York,
Man,
they
I'm
are
staying clear.
a lot different. They're
Okay.
like, F you,
Okay.
just in case.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
their MO.
All right.
On a
New Yorkers
character.
will have to wait for you to chime in on that.
If you want to write in, but I think they'll agree.
But-
It's very
Yes.
just in case.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
then
can always tell a New Yorker. I mean, you can't tell them a damn thing. But go ahead.
but then you go back to the South
Yeah.
and y'all have a nice day, and it's the same
Okay,
thing
so-
it's the same thing as the New Yorkers, it's just the way they say it.
Okay. So what about people in the Midwest?
I don't know, that's the routine.
That's the routine. Oh well, thank you for enlightening us.
You tell us some. Go ahead and tell us some. Don't judge a book by its cover stories.
Oh well,
You got a few. He has.
Well,
he-
I do have a few. It's
They're
it's,
hilarious.
It's it's been a journey, and
starts with a rant.
uh,
He starts ranting about something.
well, I was telling her about a story that I experienced being in medical sales. I'm waiting to get on the elevator, and I get on the elevator. And I've got, one of my, I got a nice suit on. I got my handbag. I'm going up to see a doctor. And when the door opens, it's an owl.
He calls them owls.
Well, that's what
Old white lady.
Okay. Well, so she gets over in the corner and she starts clutching her purse. And I'm looking at her like, I don't want your money. I don't want your purse. So
She's acting all nuts.
Yeah,
like
just
paranoid. Like shrieked. Yeah, she
I started to do it back. But
You
I didn't. But
you
I
did
didn't.
not. You were
But
thinking. You were thinking about it.
Yeah. So, I get on the elevator, and I stand there. We go up about 5 floors, and the door opens again, and in walks the sheik.
Like a Sikh from India.
Right.
A Sikh.
And he's got
Turban.
his turban, and Sikhs are some of the
They're all
nicest.
dressed up in the robes and all
I mean,
that.
they're some of the nicest people that you'll ever meet.
Well, but that
okay?
lady.
But she came over, grabbed my arm, and I'm looking at her like,
Suddenly she's your best friend.
yeah,
She loves you now.
right. So a couple floors up, he walks out, and I look at her and she says, "I'm scared of them fellers. Them Muslims scare me." And I said, "Ma'am, he's one of the most loving people that you'll ever meet. Don't judge a book by its cover."
There you go.
All right.
That's it. Or we have to take a break and then we'll do more. Okay, we're going to take a 2-minute break here and tell you more about Don't Judge a Book by its cover because Greg's got a couple more stories that just kill me.
Yeah. Well, book by its cover. She was booked. No, I was kidding.
I'm booked.
Okay.
Goodbye.
See you in a bit.
social media shows
is about
branding, opportunity,
and outreach
we are an entertainment company that empowers others
by promoting and supporting our community
and everyone who reaches our content.
here on social media shows.
Here we're a family.
We are family.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, sing.
We are family.
We are family.
We are family.
we are a family.
We are family.
We are family, and we want you to be part of our social media shows family.
I mean, I know you're
Okay.
going to talk.
Yeah, we're back in our gorgeous studio here in Las
Hey,
Vegas. You know,
Gregarious joy.
You talked about it getting hot. We finally got to 100 degrees yesterday.
Yeah.
Typically by May 1st, we're already at 100 degrees.
He's gonna
But we had a
love-
terrific May, 70s and 80s.
We did. We had the nicest, most pleasant spring. It was fabulous. And so now we got the heat, and here we come.
Hey.
Got the chiffon outfit on, ready to go. He's going to be wearing seersucker this summer.
I ain't gonna
You'll
put on
see.
no
Oh,
seersucker.
he'll learn.
Okay.
He'll learn how to dress with linen, seersucker. You're going to be doing it.
You're
Trust
gonna be
me on
calling
that.
me a sucker if you see me in a
No.
seersucker. Okay, but anyway, tell us your story about
No, you tell
judging.
them
No, book by the
Oh,
cover.
okay. Well, I would just say, I notice that as I look at people, I'm a fashion designer, so I look at people critically, and scrutinize how people dress. Like, I'm always saying, oh, if they just had that different outfit, different hair, something different in the shoe, that would be a perfect outfit. I'm always analyzing and thinking and talking about fashion.
Fellas, listen to this part, okay? Judging a person by the way they, dress, she'll look down at the man, and if he's got on a pair of cheap shoes,
Yeah.
oh no, don't even mess with him.
No.
If he can't spend no money on his shoes, well, girl,
or if
he
they
ain't worth the
or
time.
or if they smell.
Or if he smells.
If the shoes smell,
Okay.
God, they should throw
So,
those out.
you got to get the Brothers Johnson out on that one, get the funk out of my face. But anyway, keep going.
At any rate, but so sometimes people will look a 10. This is a model I want to use, or this is a person who's a 10. Look at this person.
Perfect 10.
And
We've
then
all had one of
and then
those
they're
come
up
across.
there. They're all their glory. They open their mouth and they drop to a 4, right in front of your eyes. You're just, whoa.
So-
this is a racist, or this is a horrible person, or this is a stupid person, or ignorant in some way that really offends you, or you just, they're just something is not, to your level or your liking. And so that's why you can't judge a book by its cover. Sometimes people look great, but they aren't. And a lot of times there's an old saying, if things look too good to be true,
They probably are.
yeah, they probably are. So that's why we should all try to stay open-minded. But he's got a couple more stories.
I don't.
The UPS?
Oh, yeah. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Oh, I was telling her the story. I've mentioned to you I sold defibrillators, and I gotten a call that one of the Hollywood producers wanted to purchase one. And I made the phone call, told me which gate to go in, and all the security measures that I had to go through.
Right.
So, I'm driving up from Orange County. I got on my best suit. I'm looking good. I'm feeling good. I'm getting ready to go meet this top executive from a named studio in Hollywood.
Hollyweird, huh?
It was cool.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Sure was beautiful.
I get to the big office, and the receptionist's there, and she's looking down, and she says, I don't have anything today. And I go, I've never heard that one before. So I didn't say a word. So she said it again, a little sterner this time. I said I don't have anything. Never looked up, head down. So I just stood there. And then she looked up and she said, Willie, hello. I said, Willie? She said, yeah, he's the UPS man.
You look like him by
I said, well, hello, what can Brown do for you today?
her peripheral
Yeah.
vision.
But anyway.
What can Brown do for you? You asked.
No, I didn't. That's a thought that came through my mind. But she said, and you are? I said, I'm Greg Franklin. I'm your 11 o'clock appointment. She said, Mr. Franklin, I am terribly sorry. Please forgive me. I didn't look up. All I saw was, I said, all you saw was color, right? And she said, actually, yes. She said, but would you promise me you would not tell my boss? And I stood quietly for a second, and I said, okay, I won't say anything if you promise me that you'll do one thing from here forward. And that is look in the eyes of the person that comes to see you. Okay?
Right.
Give them that respect.
Good.
She said, "Oh my God, I'm really speechless." But thank you for that message. I
Right.
promise I will look up into the eyes of each person that comes in.
Very nice. Yeah, that's good. So you like helped her hopefully get some new perspective on that and woke her up. And then there was another story that I loved when he told me this story. He was going over across the
We still on that?
the Golden
Okay.
Gate Bridge.
Oh,
this was don't judge a book by its cover.
That's also a pay it forward story.
Yeah, it is a pay it forward. He was in church, and his minister said, let's pay it forward this week, and so do something nice for people. So he was on the toll bridge, and he paid for the guy in back of him. You know how at Starbucks there's that day, everybody buys each other, and it's wonderful.
Yeah,
That
it's
he
a cool
just
dude.
thought, I'm in the spirit of love, I'm gonna pay this guy's toll in back of me. So he pays it. And then what happened?
Okay, I paid the toll for the guy behind me, and I jet on, and
He's
I'm
on the
heading on the
bridge.
freeway, and all of a sudden this car is weaving in and out of lanes, and I'm seeing him in the corner of. I'm like, what the heck? So I changed lanes, he changed lanes, and then finally I just said, let me slow down and see what this guy wants.
Mm-hmm.
So he rolls down his window and he says, hey, do you know my man? Why did you pay our toll? Is there something going on here that I don't know about?
Are you sleeping with my
Are
lover?
you sleeping with my man?
My
And
lover.
I'm going, dude.
That every day.
No,
So
you don't.
he got pulled over and asked. It was like a drive-by, trying to get you to pull over. That was a crazy moment, man. Okay, so anyway, that was a, don't judge a book by its cover, and pay it forward on that one. But
Okay, that's kind of been our theme for today, is to look at the inner beauty of each person that we meet. And if you find time to do that, you will find inner beauty in each person that you do meet.
like
Okay.
the movie Shallow Hell. which
Shallow
I
Hell, absolutely.
Love Shallow Hell. Awesome movie.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, and then Tony Robbins has a little cameo appearance in that movie, and he does a thing where he's trying to teach this lesson, and he says it's easy to see the inner beauty in people if you're looking for it.
You have to look for it.
Yes,
Right.
and
But-
it's all around you. We just have to look for the inner beauty.
Right. But right now, wouldn't you say it's more of a, I won't say culture, but right now we're looking at people and bad-mouthing them if they're a certain nationality, if they're a certain race. So this is a very important topic.
There's a lot of banter in the racism department.
There is a lot
There's
of banter.
a lot of banter in
Yeah.
everybody's nationality.
Yeah.
Everyone's, and it's kind of like the natives are restless. There's another surge coming, a change. I feel a rise in consciousness that's going to come out
I
of
do
it.
believe there's
Because,
a rise in consciousness, and
the-
there will be a change.
Yeah,
but
because
we had to go through all that
Yeah.
icky stuff to
and,
get to the
and
change.
everything they say, there's this wise old saying that everything, like when things are going to change, it starts with a complaint. That's how things change. They start with a complaint. That's how we are as human beings. We
Yes.
just do that. We complain. And so everybody's ranting and complaining about each other's race a lot lately. I find that true. I think that's probably true. But it just means change is coming.
Change is coming.
Yeah. and it's going to be exciting.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Change is coming.
I lived in Gardena for 1 year, in Gardena, California, and they had an equal 4 nationalities. This is the first time I ever experienced this. It was the Hawaiian, Asians, Black, Mexican, and white. All 4, 25% of each. It was like an equal, it seemed very equally mixed in their community. You go to a grocery store and it's all equal mix of these 4 nationalities.
Right.
The first time I ever lived in a place like that. And I thought, this is the way America is supposed to be. Everybody seemed like they were really polite to each other.
Yes.
I was really impressed by it. I was literally amazed. It was great.
Yes.
That's my hope and goal, is to have that happen in our country.
Well, having
Everywhere.
having spent the last 25 years in California, and I took a stint in the South, in Texas and in Atlanta, while the cost of living was much less, and people...
The South, because it was, you'd already lived in California, which is so liberal.
Right.
And you worked with a lot of nationality people in your career.
Right.
And a lot of white people, especially.
Yeah.
And you were probably outnumbered, right? So you saw...
I didn't understand all of the Confederate flag.
How offended they were.
Right. General Robert E. Lee, the South lost. You lost. Get over it.
Yeah.
Didn't anybody get the memo, and you're still fighting about this?
Yeah.
So
it's kind of, I
it
know.
was a bit overwhelming.
Because the history needs to be rewritten. I believe we will have a new history book coming out that will have all kinds of other nationalities included in the history of our nation.
Yes.
In the good things they did and contributed, and down the high and the low of their nationalities as well, not just ignored. Because there are a lot of nationalities get ignored in our regular history books.
Cool.
For high school kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Director, do we need to take a break?
Yes. Okay. All right. So, why don't you introduce the break?
All right. We're going to go on a short break. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. And if you have a response that you'd like to share with us, please feel free to do so. You can also hit me at G as in Greg, Franklin, Franklin, speaks, SPEAKS, at gmail.com. How about you?
And I'm BETT, STEIN, Bet Stein, at 2121 at gmail.com.
Yeah.
So that's where you can get the Bettina fashion and talk with me about things or subjects and so forth.
Speaking of race, her name is Bettina, and you spell it B-E-T-T. So I was teasing her when I first met her. I said, "What's up, B-E-T?" And she was looking at me like...
Oh, Guy, don't start. Wait, we're taking our break.
What are you talking
We'll
about?
start with that when we get back from the break.
All right, stick around. I got to tell you that story.
There's a lot of isms around here.
Yes.
That's an ism, right?
We'll be right back.
Bye.
Social media shows are looking for independent unsigned artists to show off to the world for a brand new show. So if you have a video ready to show, email us right now at darkmusictelevision@gmail.com. The video must be a quality of MP4, and we're accepting all genres: R&B, hip-hop, soul, blues, pop, country, rock, every and all types. So join us now and let us bring the world to you.
Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now.
could take you where you wanna be. You could be my luck. Even
Social Media Shows is teaming up with RevolutionRadio2.com to present Social Media Shows Sunday, featuring the very best of social media shows starting at 6 a.m. We begin our block with Saved by Grace, The Good News, In the Office, Musician Loves Honey, and ending with Dark Music Television. This is on every Sunday starting at 6 a.m. on RevolutionRadio2.com. And if you want to keep up with all the shows, please keep tuning in to socialmediashows.com.
We're back.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hey, be Bettina.
Yes,
And
Gregarious.
Gregarious Joy. Here we are.
So, I called her BET a couple times, and she kept looking at me like, what is BET?
I know there's a BET Awards, the BET Awards.
The BET Awards. So I was like, you don't know about BET? What planet have you been living on?
And I realized I had to watch a little more Black history.
So she's got this book, and I think we've showed it on a couple times. This
the
slang book, and she couldn't
American slang.
She couldn't find BET, so I told her what channel it was on, and now she watches BET all the time, and called me the other day saying,
I like Medea. I like certain things, but I didn't. It had its own channel. Whatever.
Didn't know it had its own channel. I love it. I love it. How many years has BET been celebrated? But that's the fun of this.
Yeah, we are really breaking barriers here.
Yeah,
because
one heart at a time.
His world, my world, it's like woo, kind of colliding, and it's amazing.
Yeah. So she texted me the other day.
We got some real funny things about in our relationship.
A
classic.
And I said, I'm gonna have to at least get you into a classic black movie.
Oh yeah, what one did you show me? That ghetto one.
Well, wait, don't say ghetto.
Well,
that was Fridays.
Oh.
I mean, come on, she, was on the porch, selling weed, talking about girls and the whole bit. To me, it was a comedy. She's looking at it like, what?
Yeah, he says what about a lot of stuff in my life too.
Well, it's all good. It's all good.
Like, for instance.
Yes.
All right, this is a Bettina-ism, but this is a different cultural thing. Okay, when I do my laundry, sometimes I just put it in my living room instead of put it out on the patio or in the dryer. Because I like
she's gonna tell on me now.
Yeah, I like to have these really great crispy sheets, and when I had a clothesline, I could do that outdoors, and I love that instead of putting them in the dryer. So anyway, one day I had all these white sheets that I did all at once. I don't know why. Suddenly one day I had a lot of white sheets, but I put them all over the living room, the furniture. He comes walking in and he takes pictures and he's laughing, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he says, "This is the funniest thing I've ever seen. What are all these white sheets doing in your living room?" And I go, "What do you care? I don't know." So then he's going on and on about the white sheets and this and that. And I said, what are you insinuating here? There's no hood. There are no little eyes in any of these sheets. Don't you start with the white sheets and me. Come on. So that's what came out. He jokes all the time. He says my dog and I are into the Ku Klux Klan, and poor little Boston Terrier doesn't know what.
Me and Raleigh are cool. Raleigh does his bark every morning when he goes outside.
This is a funny one.
And, I told her, whenever he barks, he says, woo, woo, woo.
His whole body jumps up and down. When he's really barking to other dogs in the neighborhoods.
What he's saying.
He comes in one day and he says, "You won't believe what Raleigh was barking." And I'm like, okay. And he says, "I imagine he was saying something." He's saying, "I'm black and I'm proud." I'm like, oh great, Greg. So now you got a buddy.
I got a buddy, a partner in crime.
Proud.
Yeah, and but the sheet thing did, scare me. I come in and she's got this one chair that's kind of a captain's chair or something, and it's got you know.
What about the chandelier on the patio?
Yeah, she had a chandelier on the patio.
It kind of goes up at the top a little.
Yeah, so it kind of looked like it was a hood. So
it was like a pointy hat.
So I was just having fun with her. Trust me, I was having fun. I took a pen and I put eyes.
No.
And then I put a smile on there.
And I'm like, I did not do that.
And I said, you trying to tell me something here with these sheets?
He's bad. He's bad. And I thought that was just silly and ridiculous. But then I had a group of people that I met
told her,
recently,
I said, look,
and I
if
ran
you
it
got
by
some
these.
sheets,
I ran about some African American people, and they
if-
laughed so hard.
I said,
immediately.
I said, if you
They
got
knew
some
exactly-
sheets, give them to me. Please don't cut her eyes and nose and eyes out in your sheets.
I'm not
there's
cutting up
plenty
any
of,
sheets.
There's plenty of families that would love to have some white sheets.
I
okay?
love cutting because I'm a clothing designer, but I did
All
not
right.
cut any sheets up like that.
All right.
Okay, you get that
You know,
out of your head.
Well, you know, it's fun that we're
Heel.
able to say that.
Heel.
But speaking of sheets, we, you know, I was telling her about Spike Lee and growing up at Morehouse, and Spike was saying that his first movie would be Malcolm X and the whole bit.
Yeah, let me tell you how this movie came out. You know what? I feel a lot of things in life are
She loved it.
Spirit driven.
She
and
loved
like
the
the way we
movie.
met was very spirit driven.
Klansman, she loved it.
Yeah. What I did, I was in my bedroom and I Googled Ku Klux Klan because, you know, he was talking about the white sheets, and I thought, okay, what the heck? So I'm Googling Ku Klux Klan, and what came up was the Black Klansman movie, the Spike Lee's movie from last year.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that looks interesting. So I hit the trailer. I watched the trailer. I thought, this looks like a great movie. So I walked in to Greg. I said, hey, have you seen the Black Klansman? He's like, no, but I want to see that movie. And it's spirit driven. That it was on that night on HBO.
So
Coincidentally.
she calls me and says, hey,
and
can
then
you
we
come
watched
over?
it once or twice in the next few days. It was really great to watch that
we
movie.
ended up watching it twice.
It was such a good movie by
It was
Spike
a great
Lee.
movie.
And he
I would
met
highly recommend it.
He met Spike Lee personally, or knew him in college.
Mhm.
Because he decorated for a dance.
Shout
right?
out to Spike
Hi,
Lee
Spike.
at from Morehouse College.
Yeah.
Great
And
movie, Spike.
He says
and,
you're an amazing decorator.
not director
Director.
is what she meant to say.
For the decorating for a dance or something, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was really creative.
Yeah, I was vice president of student government then, and you know, Spike used to give me a hard time because of where I was from.
Oh,
but
yeah,
you know,
he never let you live down
Yeah,
your
well,
front-
I never let him live down a few things. I'm not going to say.
Yeah, we're not going to
say. But anyway, I asked
Thank God
Spike. I asked Spike if he would do coronation for us. And coronation was in the gym, and this is where all the sorority queens would come together,
nice.
and they'd have this coronation ball. And
debutante ball kind of thing.
you know, when I walked
That's
into
neat.
the gym, my mouth dropped.
It was
And
amazing.
if you know what I'm talking about,
I'd
if
like
you
to
were
see a
there,
picture of that.
oh my God, he had the gym. He turned it into a Madison Square Garden. There was a runway for the girls to walk down, and I mean, it was very, very impressive.
Like
and I knew at
red
that
carpet,
time
red carpet.
that he was a very talented guy. Had no idea that he would get to the magnitude that he
Yeah.
has today, but very, very, very talented. So
and
again,
that movie
shout
was,
out.
by the way, fantastic. It was based on a true story. Black Klansman. Everybody should watch it if you haven't watched it. It's amazing.
Yeah, HBO was playing it for, you know, I
weeks
think it
ago.
was, last month, in the month of May, they were running it. So check it out to see when it actually will run again.
And people have Netflix can probably watch it. You never know. I mean, try to see it. It's
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
And
yeah. The funny part
only
at
thing
the
is, I didn't
end-
like the ending. The
well,
ending was.
Yeah, the ending was, but the part that I liked is when Denzel Washington's son,
Yeah.
who plays the lead
He
role,
plays the lead role. He was
who
good.
infiltrated.
He looked like his
you know,
dad.
He was going
looked
to
so
infiltrate
good.
the organization.
Let's tell him a little.
Yeah, he
little
talked,
capsule.
you
We don't
know,
want a spoiler, but
yeah,
he was
yeah,
a
yeah,
black
yeah.
police officer in the South who saw something in the newspaper, and it looked like the Ku Klux Klan, or somebody was offering a chance to join a club. So he kind of got the tone of the club. So he calls up this black police officer and he says, "Hey, I want to join your club, I think." And they go, "Well, the Ku Klux Klan is on the other phone," and they ask him some questions.
Spoilers alert.
We're not going to tell you anything. No. It's just the premise. So, at any rate, he says, I hate and he used some verbal bad slurs of different nationalities. I hate those people, blah, 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 including black people and the N-word and all this. And then they go, hey, you sound pretty good. You sound like somebody we'd like to have in our group. So, anyway, he ends up helping with the undercover.
Yeah, but you didn't tell the best part of that. And again, don't tell the whole story. But you know, David Duke says, yeah, we'd like to meet with you. I mean, you sound like a very intelligent man and somebody that we'd like to have in our organization. So he says something to the effect of, how do you know I'm not black? He said, I know you're not black
'Cause your
because black people pronounce ara, ara. Ara.
That was the one reason, the only thing. Like one tiny little thing. But
And then it comes up at the end.
He was well
but you
spoken.
got to see when he comes back with that ara at the end.
Oh.
You know,
He gets his
like
shot.
Ara Kelly. But anyway.
But they had to get a white police officer to go in as him because obviously he couldn't go to Ku Klux Klan meeting, right?
As a black
so
person.
they get this other guy who turns out he's a Jew, and they get mad at that later on. The Ku Klux Klan gets mad at that too. But anyway, they get a white guy to go in there and act like he's going to join them, and they help infiltrate the head of Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
And it was a story based in the 70s. And I don't know if it's based on a true story, I believe. So that's a very interesting movie. Very good for our era right now to watch. Spike Lee was very smart to do that, and I loved it. So
Cool in the gang.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I think we've done a good job in our attempt to capture some of the fun in our daily lives when it comes to judging a book by its cover.
Yeah, we have. And everybody else who wants to write in and talk more about that, please do, because we'd love to have funny stories. It's so hilarious in life how we judge book by its cover sometimes, and often. And by the way, I have one more thing to say about that. A lot of times when I see somebody,
No, you don't have anything else to say. You don't talk much.
a lot of times somebody looks really good, but then they open their mouth and they go down in your opinion. And sometimes it's kind of okay, but then they open their mouth, they say some things, and they go up in your opinion. So.
You said that a few minutes ago.
I know I
so
did.
that
I've
must
repeated myself. It's
so that
Alzheimer's.
must be really important to you.
Yeah.
So guys, if you're interested in seeing this lady, okay, let me tell you up front.
What?
Wear your nice shoes, okay? Get some Cole Haans or something like that, because she's going to be checking out your shoes.
Oh no, I do know what socks they're gonna. I always know what everybody wore. I don't remember names sometimes, but I don't remember exactly what people wore. The socks, the hanky, the belt color, everything. I'll tell you what brand, everything. I don't know why. I always do that.
Okay.
I love clothes and presentation, you know.
Well, you know, it's a funny thing when we get into this discussion. I have a friend who's a godfather. I met him in my college years in Atlanta, and we became friends. He had gone through a marriage that ended in a divorce, and he called me one day and he said he was lonely. And I said, well, dude, you know, do what you got to do, man. Get out and date a bit. So he says, well, you know, my neighbor next door is trying to introduce me to her au pair. And she cooks, she takes care of the kids, the whole bit. And I said, well, what's the problem with that? Well, she's from the Middle East. And I said, your point is? He says, well, she's not white, but she's brown. And I said, your point is what?
So he was making a big deal out of it.
Yeah, he was afraid that his church wouldn't accept her, which they didn't. And
when it
his,
comes to-
you know, his personal friends didn't right off the bat accept her as well.
When it comes to matters of the heart, really should we listen to our friends or anybody?
Well, you know, in my own way, without being very judgmental, I said to him, listen, you have shared with me that you're looking for a companion, a partner, someone to spend your quality time with. God has given you a gift. Okay, and you're judging the gift by the color of the wrapping paper. How many times do we do that? Okay, tear the wrapping paper off.
Right.
You know, black, brown, white, whatever color it is, inside that box or inside the heart is where the love is. If you find genuine compassion and love from someone, regardless of their race and their color, and they make you happy, go for it.
Go for it. Go for it. That's it. And speaking of fun,
Yeah?
I wanted to say, I think that everybody should devote a certain percentage of time every week to having fun.
Okay.
Like this week, like decompression time. You know, I know you need to rest, but don't stay at home in bed. Don't only sleep for your, your.
I like the idea, but what
went,
about
we
people
went out
who...
to a great blues club this weekend.
Yeah, I had been given a recommendation, so I said, you want to check it out, and let's, you know...
It was called the Sand Dollar.
Critique this place.
Absolutely fun.
Man, I'll
the
tell
most
you what.
fun I've had dancing ever. Ever.
I love the blues, but I didn't know that they would have a blues place to the magnitude of this one
So good.
in Las Vegas.
So many good performers.
It's free to enter. no cover charge. The music was off the hook.
Good pizza.
Yeah, the pizza was great. That's all they serve. And
fun.
you know, about
Such a great night spent.
every half hour they change, and another band member would come on, or the drummer would stay, and you know, another bass player would get on.
Yeah.
But what I really like,
Blues Society, right?
yeah, the blues.
I got their card.
What I like about the
have
blues,
them on to talk
you know, in so many respects, it reminds me of gospel.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
the guy was on the organ and he was kicking it, and then
You love the organ.
Oh, I do.
He loves the organ.
Then the bass player was kicking in, and the drummer, and
The bass.
wow,
yeah.
and then you get some lady to sing,
Oh, she was good.
and you don't have to have a real, you know, style to get up and dance. Why don't you tell them about
Oh
those?
my gosh.
There were three.
We had so much fun. People
There was
watching.
a set of triplets, 3 guys.
Well, they were. I called them the triplets because they looked like Woody Harrelson and 2 other guys that looked like him.
yeah,
Harrelson.
yeah,
Woody Harrelson.
yeah.
And so hilarious. They had like the coolest style of dance. It was all like small and little movements, but it was so cute. All 3 of them were doing it together in a line and in group, and oh my gosh, these guys they loved each other. You could tell they were old friends,
Yeah,
family.
they were doing that. Oh, Johnny, go,
It
go,
was so
go.
funny.
Kicking their
It
legs
was so
out.
funny doing all these little moves together, and it was all to the blues music. It was an interesting style that
It was
I
awesome.
never saw before.
It was awesome. So
That it was all in fun. Everybody just so in the mode, you know, or in the groove there. And you can tell there's so many couples sitting, older couples,
yeah,
watching.
well,
And, you know, just you can tell these people go there all the time. That's their regular Saturday night thing.
yeah. No offense
It's
to
a
anybody.
hangout.
Yeah,
You can
no
tell.
offense to anybody, none at all. But you won't find any pants hanging off the butt in
that's true.
Sand Dollar. Okay, it's
No.
a very, very mature crowd
Yeah.
with the blues. So it won't be no rap music. Sorry about that, baby.
Just
ain't
fun.
no rap. Ain't no
and
rap in there.
There was even a girl dancing barefoot. I thought that was kind
Yeah,
of
it was a
funny.
girl dancing by herself.
Oh yeah, guys, girls, everybody. I mean,
Cool.
I danced by myself for 2 seconds, and then he came out there and danced too. That was fun.
Okay. So the long and the short of this story today, if you haven't gotten it by now, is what?
Fun. You have to devote it. Oh, don't judge a book by its cover.
There it is.
But also, you have to devote
Oops,
a
there it
certain
is.
amount of time for fun every weekend. We went also to a new food place, which we want to speak about a food place again, like we talked about Fuku Burger the last time.
Yeah.
We went to. I wanted to have him experience PT's Rib Crib. Because he just
PT's
moved
Rib
here
Crib.
a few months back. He'd never been there. So
Yeah.
we've tried Roll and Smoke,
Yeah.
which was very good.
Right.
And PT's now.
PT's was good. I must admit, the ribs were very, very tender. They were very
They
good.
fell off the bone. They
Yeah,
were
they were-
fabulous.
they
And
were very good.
They didn't put that much sauce, but what they did have, it was perfect. I loved it. It was very
Awesome.
strong and delish.
Yeah, we'd like to have the owner
Yeah, the owner come in. The woman.
come
she's-
on
they've
and
owned it
pitch her restaurant. She's been owning it for what, 20 years?
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah.
And I got some film footage, and we're going to be talking with them about coming on as a guest.
Yeah.
So
You know, no offense to her, I love the ribs, but there's something to me about BB King's, and I know everybody doesn't like them, but I do. I
BB
mean,
King's.
you know, the rib joint.
Do we have that in town? Where is it?
That's where we went with Larry. Shout out to
No,
Larry. What is it?
Lucille's, dude.
Oh, my bad. Lucille's.
See, he's in the wrong state right
Yeah,
now.
Lucille's.
He's back in Atlanta
You know,
or something.
they've got like 4 different sauces
Lucille's is your
and
favorite.
everything.
Yeah,
I
he's
do.
still hanging tough with Lucille. So
Yeah,
he's the rib connoisseur, and I trust you.
Okay.
So if you say so, I'm the salad connoisseur. That's for real.
I thought you were the matzo ball queen.
I'm the matzo ball queen too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean I love salads.
Yeah,
Soup.
she makes matzo ball soup.
I make all kinds of soup. I make soup every day. Every week I have a new kind of soup.
Is that right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. We're going to start calling you the soup kitchen?
I am a soup person. Yes.
All right,
Yes,
all right.
that's my favorite food. So anyway, got to spend time having fun, and
Even if it's taking a walk out in nature.
true.
You know?
I love going to Red Rock.
Yeah, someplace where you don't have to spend any money. But just step away from your routine, step away from the computer, step away from the iPhone, the phone, period. With somebody, I'm not going to call any names, hint, hint, just can't get away from the telephone. Oh my God, let the voicemail do its job.
I like to
okay?
listen to social media shows.
She
other
listens to
people's
social
shows.
media shows all the time. She's in the car.
But I like
She's
to
got
listen to
stuff going.
TED Talks. I like to listen to great music on Pandora, you know, So,
But again, turn it off, get away with nature, get out into nature, and spend some time with God. Spend some time with Spirit, whatever your name for God is.
and he used to make sure his kids, when he was driving them to school or whatever, he'd always.
My
often
kids hated
turn-
riding with me.
because he'd turn off all the radio.
I did.
He
you
wanted
know?
silence because
Yeah.
he wanted them to pray and be with God and think of.
Well, that's what I do,
That- and
and
be
it's
with
not
you
that I was
and-
forcing them that on
Well,
them.
but you were, because you were trying
But-
to
but,
train them as,
you know,
as human beings,
yeah,
like about a new practice, a good practice.
My son would say, Dad, why is it you always playing self-help stuff, or you sit in the car and we're riding and it's silent. I go, because I get my answers in the silence.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask God for an answer, be ready for it to happen. And Spirit doesn't always speak when it's a clutter or there's a lot of competition for your time and energy.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I'm riding, I love to drive. I'll drive for hours and don't have anything on.
That's nice. I
Yeah.
actually am. I can do that too. I like quiet sometimes. But one thing I
I
did.
get some of my best
I did
ideas
with
in
my
the
kids.
silence.
We read this daily word at dinner time as our little prayer.
Okay.
Because I wanted to have my kids have some spirituality that was influenced by really positive affirmations, daily.
Yeah.
So these are good things to give our kids,
God,
and
God speaks to us in the silence.
She says we're going to take another break,
We are.
right? Oh,
Yes,
we're
it's
at the
the-
end. Well, we've talked a little bit about don't judging a book by its cover.
Don't you do it.
Don't
Get to know that person.
Don't go there.
Okay.
Don't go there.
You know what? And even go a step beyond. Forget the shoes, forget the clothes. If a guy smiles at you today in the grocery store or at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, smile back at him.
Yeah, smile back.
You know what I'm saying?
Try to be human.
Yeah,
and
have
be,
a conversation with him. He may just be the person to surprise you. Just because he doesn't have the car you like, or he's not wearing the kind of shoes that you want him to have,
You don't know who
or
your
he doesn't
next
have
teacher
the
is
quality
gonna-
of hair that you
Yeah.
wanted him to
You
have.
don't know where your
you know,
next guru or
just-
teacher is going to come from.
Right, just let it go.
Be open to
and trust.
Let it go.
Open. Be open.
Be open to trusting spirit.
Okay. Well, we'll.
Remind them starting next week, we're gonna be at Mondays.
Okay.
Right.
Starting
Yeah.
next week.
Monday morning. We're changing to Monday mornings at 10 a.m. So,
Yay.
yeah, it's going to be like the view on, our view, the Gregarious Joy View, on Monday mornings, 10 a.m. And if you don't catch it then, you can watch
You
it
can always live stream it.
Yes, and all day long we'll be showing it in watch parties on Facebook all day long that day. So you can and YouTube,
YouTube, you can do it as well.
Instagram,
Go to
Twitter.
YouTube and put in Gregarious Joy.
right? And you'll see it come up.
And we're work in progress, so don't judge us too hard with our early presentations.
I
but,
liked our show. What do you mean?
I thought it was cool too, but you look back at it and you said some things that you could do better. So, that's all I'm
Did
saying.
I cut you off when you were talking?
Oh, you cut me off all the time
Oh,
when I'm
but
talking.
today I was.
Oh, that's all good.
Sorry.
It's all good.
We're
Hey,
working on it.
Yeah. So next Monday we'll see you. Okay.
Yeah. See you
Until then, we will do the Unity Peace song.
Okay.
Let there be peace on earth,
Let it begin with me.
and let it begin with me. Make that your motto today.
I'll pray for you. You
You
pray,
pray
for
for
me,
me.
and we are all part of a big family.
We're all a part of a big family. We can do this thing.
All
We can
right.
do it together.
Bye.
Peace and love.
Have a good day, everybody. Bye. From Gregarious Joy.